Hello and welcome to HBM's Crypto-Corner for Wednesday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 2021. We have several things to talk about, so let's get started. Oklahoma Bigfoot bounty soars to over $2 million for first to capture Sasquatch. Now, that's to capture a Sasquatch, but you know there's going to be individuals who are going to be wanting to get out there and shoot one. And there's no legal protection against anybody shooting a Sasquatch in Oklahoma. Besides, this legislation kind of went nowhere anyway. So, the thing is, there's going to be some enterprising individual who's going to want to shoot a Sasquatch, not capture one. And that will have an unintended consequence for whoever does it. Nick Redfern is hopeful that the thylacine still lives. His thoughts and hopes for the thylacine, he's still hopeful. It died out in Australia, but in Tasmania it was around until 1936. But as we've seen with these recent photos, and again, I don't know what a polypodon looks like, whatever that was called. I have no idea. I'm not a wildlife expert. But Nick seems to hold out hope. Despite those photographs, which may turn out to be of a polypodon or polypodon, whatever that was called. The Yowie, apes in North Queensland. That's in Australia. There's an excellent book about Yowies called The Yowie, in Search of Australia's Bigfoot by Paul Cropper and Tony Healy. This is a fellow named Malcolm Smith. In their definitive work on the subject, The Yowie, that's the book I was thinking about. Tony Healy and Paul Cropper catalog sightings and encounters from the south of the continent all the way up to North Queensland. Newspapers have not been as active in reporting sightings as they used to be, but last month a major capital city newspaper provided a glimpse into the situation in North Queensland. So apparently there's a recent report. So does the Yowie still live in Australia? Seems like it does. Hasn't gone extinct in Australia, the land down under. Finally, a fake warning about Sasquatch in Kentucky makes the rounds on social media. Apparently somebody's having a little fun at Bigfoot's expense. Cleverly crafted but ultimately bogus bulletin that supposedly served as a Sasquatch warning. And I hate when people do this. When they make jokes about stuff like this. This is not funny. Says, attention visitors, Sasquatch have been sighted coming from the woodlands to the lakes, rivers, and other waterways to feed on fish, crawdads, vegetation, and other food sources. Do not be alarmed if you have an encounter. Remain calm. Do not run. Do not separate from your group. Do not chase Sasquatch. Do not feed Sasquatch. Do take photos. Record location and direction of travel. Report the encounter. Sasquatch are not aggressive, nor will they harm you. Well, do we really know that for sure? There are encounters which didn't turn out so well for the witness. The witness barely survived in some cases. This is making it seem like Sasquatch are all sweetness and light, and they're not. Saying that they're not aggressive is misleading at worst. We don't know if they have a bad day or not. I would think that if you ran into a hostile one of these things, you would tend to disappear. That's what Thomas Steenberg once said. We don't know the true nature of these creatures. So how can we say, oh, they won't harm you? How do you know? You just don't know. So the best thing to do is just stay away from them. Stay away from one if you see one. And that's going to do it for this week. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. You guys are the heart of the show. I always say that, but I always mean it. And I'll keep doing this as long as you guys want me to. And until next week, y'all be good or be good at it. This is May-HBM's Crypto Corner.